Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated. And man, I have a great episode planned for you guys today. Some people like to start the day off with a cup of coffee. It's about 9 a.m. in Arizona, where I presently reside. I'm going to start this day off with a good old cup of conspiracy. And I know that, if you are new to the channel, what I do here on this channel is I just give my opinions based on the facts. This is not a conspiracy-based channel typically. I don't even kind of delve into, the realm of assuming things, and I like to base, my opinions even on the facts. But the facts or the evidence is beginning to mount, you know what I mean, in the space of this Dallas Mavericks team, this Dallas Mavericks franchise, and what the new ownership group is doing. Since Mark Cuban, sold his majority stake in the organization. But before we dive into the content, do me a huge favor if you haven't done so already. Like the video. Liking the video helps us cruise along algorithm avenue so that this video gets into the presence of individuals just like yourself who are looking for this kind of content. I took a couple weeks off and I kind of spotty working on some things in my other business. So we've taken the algorithm hit. So, you know what I mean? Like, help us get back in good graces with the algorithm. Obviously, liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Subscribing to the channel helps you stay in the know. That's when these episodes are uploaded. Click that notification bell as well. So diving right into, this content, I'm going to entitle today's episode AD injury and Mavs to Vegas conspiracy. So, I, like most everybody else, was utterly thrown off and completely shocked by the Anthony Davis Luka Doncic trade. I think that it was more shocking or most shocking to all of us, especially, avid basketball fans, because the trade was fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, not that Anthony Davis is not a good basketball player. Of course, Anthony Davis is a phenomenal basketball player, but age for age, 25 to 31. You know what I mean? Like, one of these players, clearly being the younger player, has the potential to be around for a long time. So, Anthony Davis's basketball talent and his basketball skill set and his prowess defensively notwithstanding, it still is not an even one-for-one player trade anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, on any franchise, in any era, it just doesn't make sense that they will be essentially traded one for one. You know what I mean? And what Dallas gave up was Maxi Kleber as well, Markieff Morris. And what the Lakers gave up was Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 draft pick. 2029 draft pick really doesn't make sense because, the Lakers would have to be horrible for that 2029 draft pick to, be a valuable pick. Obviously valued in the sense that Dallas could obviously trade the pick away, use it as a bargaining chip in future trades, etc., leading into 2029, but just not a very even trade. And so I think that was the thing that was most shocking to all of us. Like, that, and the fact that it's a megastar in Luka Doncic being traded, you know what I mean? And that hasn't happened in any era of basketball. Like, what? Like, one of literally, the best basketball players. And I mean, this brother led the league in scoring last season. Like incredible basketball player. Like, what is the face of a franchise doing being traded away that way? And so anyway, it was incredibly shocking to all of us around, these YouTube streets and the independent media space, and also in the mainstream media. But a lot of things that really don't make sense have been occurring. We listened to Nico Harrison's, confidently idiotic to a degree, responses, and his takes on why he traded away Luka Doncic. And Nico Harrison was praised, if you can remember, through the playoffs and through the latter part of the NBA season last year for the deals that he pulled to get PJ Washington into a Dallas Mavericks uniform, and Daniel Gafford as well. And so to be praised for doing such a good job to put pieces in place that had an immediate impact on the team, so immediate that it then helped to catapult that team into the NBA Finals, then to trade away the signature piece of the team this season while you're in pursuit of possibly returning to the NBA Finals and then winning. It definitely rings as like night and day in terms of the decision making and in terms of the professional acumen of a general manager of a basketball team. So all that to say, I wanted to get into an article or a few articles today from Yahoo Sports that kind of detailed the AD injury. On Saturday, AD made his debut with his new team, the Dallas Mavericks. AD is a injury prone, superstar in this league. He is a phenomenal basketball player. It is no secret that he is injury prone. His body just doesn't seem to be able to hold up, you know what I mean, like for significant periods of the season without some kind of nagging injury or some kind of non-contact injury or something that just knocks him out of, being able to play long term. And at some point you just have to accept that this is just who the player is, and for as high on AD's ability as I am, and as most people are, man, the reality is the brother just stays hurt. I'm always nervous. I say this to people all the time. I'm nervous when AD takes a spill of any kind, you know what I mean? Or like is involved in any hard contact play, oddly enough, in a contact sport because of his injury history. And so on Saturday, he made his debut, as I began alluding to, and a phenomenal basketball performance. You know what I mean? From the outset, AD came out and was just AD. And he'd leave the game in the third quarter injured, which, unless you're living under a rock, this is your first time hearing about it. And it was, I don't even know whether to call it shocking or heartbreaking. It was like, damn, it's like, I mean, you're hoping that it wouldn't happen in the first game, but it's like, are we really surprised? And that is the part that's really fucked up. So I want to get into this article from Yahoo Sports, which is entitled Anthony Davis reportedly out multiple weeks with abductor injury from Mavericks debut. A article that was penned by Jack Baer. I've read a few of Jack's articles in the past. Shout out to Jack Baer. But before I even get into the article, Anthony Davis reportedly out multiple weeks with abductor injury. It's the same fucking injury that he came to the team with. He had an ab strain and abductor injury. Same injury. And so it goes back to the question that I asked in the previous video, or I think in the video where I announced it. Like, when did it become okay to trade players that are injured? Like, it did not used to be a thing. Like, once upon a time, you had to be healthy because you had to pass a physical. We just saw the Mark Williams, Dalton Connect trade rescinded in recent days because of that failed physical. AD had an abs injury during the trade, and teams waive off the trade. Somebody said to me, and I was just like, teams can say, yeah, we don't really care about, waive off the physical portion of the deal. Just say, yeah, we understand that it hurt. We'll take them anyway. Like, yeah, but that still doesn't make sense to me from a standpoint of like, being able to trade valuable assets. I get it. Maybe it's a little less value, but both players can't be hurt, man. It's that physical portion is in place for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, that's just rings really weird to me is all. So I just, kind of went on a tangent there, but I want to get into this article without belaboring the point any farther, and pull this a little bit closer to me here. But so let's get into this article. Anthony Davis Anthony Davis's debut with the Dallas Mavericks under 10 circumstances began well. It ended badly. The Mavericks' new big man suffered a left abductor strain in his first game in a Dallas uniform and is expected to miss multiple weeks. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, his absence could reportedly stretch to a month. Anthony Davis is having a phenomenal season. So far, averaging nearly 26 points a game, 12 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 2.2 blocks, and his numbers were on par with the 26 that he scored in this game, but a little better in terms of rebound. And Davis sustained a non-contact injury in the third quarter of the Mavericks game against the Houston Rockets on Saturday. He exited the court under his own power, but in clear discomfort, and never returned after being announced as doubtful. Both Davis and Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd downplayed the seriousness of the injury, with the player describing it as nothing serious. Davis being out means there will be at least two replacements in the 2025 NBA All-Star Game, as Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is also expected to miss the event with a calf strain. Anthony Davis's Mavericks debut was dramatic inside and outside the court. The injury spoiled a strong debut for the 10-time All-Star as he exited with 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks in 31 minutes, while Dallas was leading the fourth place team in the West 83-75. It was everything the Mavericks could have hoped for after controversially trading superstar Luka Doncic for him, until it wasn't. The Doncic trade remains overwhelmingly negative in Dallas, to the point that hordes of fans gathered outside American Airlines Center to protest the trade on Saturday, the Mavericks' first home game since the move. The crowd chanted and carried signs, with most of their ire directed at Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison. Man, this angry mob of Dallas Mavericks fans could be heard chanting things such as "Fire Nico," "Sell the team," "Sell the team." The plot thickens, Joe. The Mavericks reportedly beefed up security ahead of the game in anticipation of unruly fans, with Harrison also facing death threats. Harrison explained the move as a needed improvement to his team's defense, while reporters relayed concerns about Doncic's conditioning and upcoming contract extension, but the executive remains one of the most unpopular people in Dallas at the moment and likely for the foreseeable future. Poor Nico. Despite the circumstances around his acquisition, Davis at least received a warm reception from Mavericks fans inside the arena. It will be a while before he receives another one. Yeah. So Anthony Davis, injured himself again, or, further injured himself by coming back too soon, because he was actually questionable to return on Saturday. I wanted to make sure that he was good before he returned. So he just sounds to me like he just re-aggravated and the injury that had him out of the lineup in LA. And so again, I don't think that it's cool to trade a player before they're healthy. Let's make sure, man, that we're trading an asset to a team that can go and contribute immediately, and we don't have to wait, unless this is some situation where, like a Brooklyn Nets understood that Kevin Durant had this Achilles issue and he was going to have surgery, and he signs with them as a free agent. And that way you understand. It's just like, hey, man, we're taking on damaged goods. We get it. You know what I mean? But to be able to trade away people and do this weird, it just rings weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it. And I'm just a fan, but I just remember when it didn't happen. And so I think that, there's a reason, and this is the reason that it didn't happen. It's so that you wouldn't take on longer term this injury, you know what I mean? Like, that plagued the player before they got here. So a lot of things happening, you know what I mean, here. Obviously, Nico, if you watched his press conference, you saw him and Jason Kidd sit there very uncomfortable, unable to really make eye contact. You heard it revealed that, this was Nico's decision solely. Shout out to Nico Harrison, GM of the Dallas Mavericks. This was not only his decision, which I'm going to get into another article here where Mavericks owners, talk about, obviously them giving the nod, to make it happen. Clearly, he's just the GM. He just can't gut the team and do whatever he wants to do with the team, including trading players or signing players, without running it up the flagpole. You know what I mean? To the folks who sit a layer above him, his bosses, to get the approval. You understand what I'm saying? So the move in and of itself is just laden with so much weirdness. You know what I mean? Not just because of AD's injury, not just because of AD and Luka's injury status prior to, not just because of Nico's revealing that he pulled this move, or he and the other higher ups pull this move without consulting with Coach Jason Kidd prior to. You know what I mean? The questioning surrounding the Supermax and them potentially not wanting to sign Luka to the Supermax, which is strange because then Nico said, well, they had never talked to Luka or his handlers, so to speak, about the potential of Luka not signing. And why would Luka not sign a $345 million Supermax when it's the most money that he could get anywhere? Even if he would have asked for a trade and said, I'm going to opt out and I want to go someplace else, he would not have been able to make $345 million. So of course he was going to sign it. You know what I mean? So for them to trade him away, and it's not really about the money because they're going to have to pay the money to somebody anyways. You know what I mean? Like, but that notwithstanding, again, it's just shrouded in so much bullshit that it is beginning to unfold into exactly what we see. Not just, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, the evidence that comes out as a result becomes very clear. I want to get into another article here from yahoosports.com. This article is entitled Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont cites character, culture for Luka Doncic trade, says team is not moving to Vegas. This article was penned by Jason Owens. Let the evidence speak for itself. Mavericks owner and governor Patrick Dumont has spoken publicly for the first time since the ground-shaking trade of superstar Luka Doncic to the rival Los Angeles Lakers in an interview with the Dallas Morning News. In the interview that was published Sunday, in which the publication described his words as at times fiery, passionate, and blunt, Dumont cited character and culture as reasons for the trade, and he insisted that the Mavericks are not moving to Las Vegas, where the fortune of the controlling owner's family was made. Dumont addresses Las Vegas theories. The trade of Doncic was one of the most stunning in not just NBA, but sports history. Doncic is a perennial MVP candidate in the early stages of his prime at 25 years old. A five-time first-team All-NBA selection who led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals just last season. He's a coveted cornerstone for a contender who was beloved by the Dallas community. The trade was so baffling and the outrage over it so succinct that it prompted conspiracy theories that Dumont and his mother-in-law, Miriam Adelson of the Las Vegas Sands fortune, ushered Doncic out of town as the first step in a plan to move the franchise to Nevada. The Adelson and Dumont family purchased a majority share of the Mavericks from Mark Cuban in 2023. Dumont spoke clearly about his intention to keep the Mavericks in Dallas. The Dallas Mavericks are not moving to Las Vegas. Dumont told the Morning News, there's no question in that. That is the answer, unequivocally. The Dallas Mavericks are the Dallas Mavericks, and they will be in Dallas. Was the deal financially motivated? So why did the Mavericks trade away Doncic, if not for a nefarious plan to move the team to the desert? Was it strictly a financial move to avoid the ramifications of signing Doncic to a $345 million Supermax contract? No, Dumont said. The trades we made this past week were about improving our basketball team for the reasons we talked about, Dumont said. None of this was about finances. Dumont instead brought up character and culture. In my mind, the way teams win is by focus, by having the right character, by having the right culture, and having the right dedication to work as hard as possible to create a championship winning outcome, Dumont said. And if you're not doing that, you're going to lose. If you look at the greats in the league, the people you and I grew up with, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win, he said. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be a part of the Dallas Mavericks. That's who we want. I'm unwavering on this. The entire organization knows this. This is how I operate outside of basketball. This is the only way to be competitive and win. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us. Mr. Dumont, with all due respect, you took on an injury-prone basketball player in Anthony Davis, who, I mean, no offense to AD, takes vacations sporadically throughout the season. Does he work hard when he's there? Sure, man, but that statement doesn't justify the trading of a Luka Doncic. Luka had a lot of soft tissue injuries, like, the hamstrings and the quad soreness and strains and stuff like that too, which speak to conditioning. I get it, but man, you just took on an oft injured asset, and it just doesn't make sense based on the explanation that you just gave. So in Dumont's eyes, does Doncic not have the proper character and dedication to work to lead a championship team? The Morning News asked him for clarification. Look, I think there's a lot of things that come into play when you decide the roster of a team, Dumont said. And culture is very important. That's what we're focused on. Let me say something about culture really quick. For culture, if you look it up, it's actually defined by behavior, right? So I understand that you want to bring in someone who has the right behavior because, especially as a leader, those who are coming to play for the team as well, who end up, comprising the rest of the roster, they're going to follow the lead of the leader. So I can understand, that cultural aspect of it, behavior wise, but let's be real. Dumont voices support for Nico Harrison. Dumont backed up and battled general manager Nico Harrison, who until Sunday had been the Mavericks' singular public face of the trade. Dumont told the Morning News that he signed off on the trade while declaring, "In Nico, we trust." He signed off on the trade. Oh, of course, he signed off on the trade. Nico's statement in the press conference was to recuse Jason Kidd of that responsibility by saying, no, this was my decision. Like, I made this decision, right? To say Jason Kidd doesn't deserve any of the, what I mean? Like, backlash that might come from this. This was my decision. I did not consult with him. We've talked about archetypes. We've talked about team makeup, etc. So I understand what he needs to get his job done on the most, effective, or in the most effective way, on the highest level. And so I'm, as a GM, making these kinds of moves, or made this move in particular. Made the moves that I made last year to bring in PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. I think the coach should be in the loop. He's the coach. Yeah, he's got a lane. The GM has a lane too, but I think the coach should be in the loop. But in Nico, we trust, according to the owner, Dumont. He also had a message for furious fans who have staged protests and vowed to disown the team after years of dedicated fandom. Who have vowed to disown the team after years of dedicated fandom. Who have vowed to disown the team after years of dedicated fandom, yo. Look, it's been an emotional week for everyone, Dumont said. It really has. I clearly understand that, and I really appreciate that. I'm a big Luka fan. My family are big Luka fans. I have a really deep appreciation for what he brought to this team, what he brought to Dallas, and the excitement he brings. He's an electrifying player. I want you to know I really sympathize with all of our fans who feel hurt. Look, as far as I'm concerned, Luka is a Mav for life, and I really wish him nothing but happiness and success in his career as he continues in LA. What? What? Bro, seriously? Seriously, I'm a big Luka fan. He's an electrifying player. Yo, I really sympathize with our fans. I'm sorry for anybody that feels hurt. I really am. I wish Luka the best in his career moving forward in LA. And as far as I'm concerned, yo, he's a Mav for life. You didn't have to trade him, bro. You literally didn't have to trade him not to achieve your ultimate goal. Like literally not to achieve your ultimate goal. If the team was trash, I would understand. If they had struggled through 7, 8, 9 seasons of this, and it didn't look like they were getting any better, they just like couldn't get over the hump, couldn't actually make a play, toward or push toward the finals. I can understand it, bro. But this reads like bullshit. It further reads like bullshit. Especially in the midst of the team, fans for the team, those who support the team by viewing the games, paying to view the games in person, supporting by buying paraphernalia, etc., jerseys, and helping to drive revenue for the team. Those people who have now vowed to disown the team. While Dumont might consider Doncic a Mav for life, the reality is that he's gone after 6.5 seasons and will almost certainly play the majority of his NBA career in a non-Mavericks uniform, and his answers to the morning news aren't likely to satisfy Mavericks fans. Not at fucking all, bro. Because it doesn't make sense. And so the only thing that then makes sense, and I encourage you guys, I didn't want to do that in this video, but you have to look into what is and has been happening in and around this franchise with being the Dallas Mavericks, with their new ownership, the Adelsons and Dumont, and their lobbying with the Texas legislature to try to get this huge sports casino complex built around a new stadium, project there and development in Dallas. It does appear, based on the evidence presented, it really does appear that this Luka Doncic trade was stamped by the NBA to boost ratings for the NBA, to get Luka Doncic out of Dallas and into a large market team, which is, would explain why they didn't want to advertise that Luka was for sale, so that it would make every team in the NBA give every team, the opportunity to bid, by creating a trade package. So the control of getting Luka into a large market franchise like the Lakers is good for ratings. It's good for revenue for the NBA. And it also points to the desire to tank this Dallas Mavericks franchise to create a space of unhappiness. Still, Anthony Davis, I think, doesn't make them a horrible basketball team, but the best ability is availability. And if AD is not able to help carry them into, the finals and to help them ultimately win, then they become a further disgruntled fan base, one that stops supporting the team the way that they used to, which then can lead the franchise to start reporting losses. You know what I mean? Like, it's not in our best business interest to be here. Maybe they take the Dallas Mavericks franchise to Vegas after all. Because why would I need to say it? Why would he need to say? Why would Dumont need to say, like, yo, the team's not going to Vegas? And you're like, well, he'd have to say it because that's the speculation cue. But no, no. I don't care if you assume that I'm cheating on my lady. I'm not gonna be like, I ain't cheating on her. That's just the thing. Like, I'm not. So, I mean, it is what it is. You say what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to say it. But all of the evidence in this case speaks to the Dallas Mavericks not being in a good place from a health standpoint and from a business standpoint with this trade of Luka Doncic. It literally makes no sense because it's nonsense. I mean, it's just like a nonsensical thing to do. And unfortunately, the Dallas Mavericks fans are suffering through this. Man, I don't fan I'm not like into fandom the way that I used to be. But I can understand, man, those diehards, the zealots, obviously, you know what I mean, the scene that they've been making out there in front of the stadium and the protest, et cetera. Man, I get it, when you're allowing, fanaticism to kind of drive your behavior and, dictate your emotions, et cetera. It's tough. That's why I stopped, being a fan in that regard, because oddly enough, I'm wearing my Jaden Daniels jersey today. Shout out to my lady for the birthday gift. But I can remember being bent out of shape, for 3 days, after a Sunday loss. It would take me until like Wednesday to recover. And then if there was a Thursday night game, I'm right back at it, all over again. Just this constant roller coaster of emotion. So I would suggest to all the fans, including you who are watching, of whatever team or sport that you're in, keep your emotions clear. Pay attention to the evidence and the facts. And let those drive your decision making and your behavior moving forward. So that has been the basis of this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you so much once again. If you haven't liked the video, subscribe to the channel as well. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Blessings.